So for today, I wanted to talk about spirit laundering. This is the illusion of cleansing the soul through a form of energetic theft and realizing what are authentic transformations and what are not. So you see, across cultures and centuries, humanity has long grappled with the weight of its moral and spiritual debts. In a world increasingly obsessed with image and reinvention, the phenomenon of spirit laundering emerges as a modern metaphysical trend, a shadowy practice in which the individuals seek to cleanse their karmic slate, not by genuine transformation, not by healing, but by appropriating or commingling with the spiritual energies, reputations, and destinies of others who have done the work. It is a ripoff and a desperate act of erasure that's meant to deceive society and ultimately the cosmos itself. From Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and a lot of indigenous spirituality, the soul's journey is governed by laws which may not be violated. Healing must be done. There's deep shadow work. There's a dark night of the soul. And true redemption cannot be borrowed, bought, or stolen. The mechanics of getting better are at odds with the idea of commingling and destiny swaps and energetic theft. You really need radical honesty, self-awareness, and soul-deep transformation to truly get somewhere in this world. So let's identify spirit laundering. Let's look at this spiritual identity heist. Spirit laundering is more than just a mere reputation management. It is the metaphysical equivalent of money laundering, where tainted spiritual currency is mixed with clean currency in the hopes of passing the whole off as pure. The launderer seeks to escape the cosmic consequences of the many actions they've taken, whether in this lifetime or in several lifetimes, by swapping destinies with another, rather than facing their shadow, rather than facing karma. They're attempting to adopt another's virtue, another's spiritual essence, another's social standing as their own. And some of these dynamics include energetic commingling, which is the intentional or unconscious blending of a person's subtle energy body, aura, prana, ki, with another. This may happen through intense relationships, charismatic influence, or even ritual acts designed to absorb another's luck, fate, or spiritual gifts. Destiny swaps, the magical or psychological attempt to switch life paths with another, either through ritual, manipulation, or emotional enmeshment, seeking to transfer one's own burdens and claim another's blessings. Through this, there becomes an erasure of awareness. Efforts to suppress or delete self-awareness of one's dark deeds, not through healing, but by overlaying another's gift on top of one's inner shadow, is a method that is tried, but whether to succeed is another story. This is really the act of an avoidant, someone who avoids responsibility, someone who doesn't want to do the hard work of true transformation. So let's look at the ancient roots and the law of integrity. While spirit laundering feels contemporary, it is actually ancient. From Egyptian, Vedic, Buddhist scriptures to indigenous practices, the idea of a soul's account is foundational. Ancient peoples understood that our actions, seen and unseen, leave energetic imprints that cannot be erased by mere proximity to those who are virtuous, and nor can it be done by energetic theft. There's a spiritual ledger. The Egyptian Book of the Dead describes the weighing of the heart. No matter how one tries to commingle with the good or ride on the coattails of another's purity, the soul's true weight is revealed before Mayat. Similarly, in Hindu and Buddhist philosophy, the bookkeeping of karma is inescapable. Actions, intentions, and the ripples of our energy persist beyond even this life. There is this inviolability to spiritual identity. Gnostic and early Christian texts repeatedly warn against the hypocrisy of whitewashed tombs, appearing pure while hiding inner corruption. To present a stolen or borrowed spiritual identity is to build a house on sand which has no foundation. Indigenous wisdom is a teacher that essence is sacred and non-transferable. Attempt to steal or commingle this is to not only attempt to rob the person, but the balance of the cosmos. Now, in Taoism, we have the natural order and the futility of artificial alignment. Taoist philosophy offers profound insights into why energetic spirit laundering, though it's done through energetic commingling, is a practice ultimately doomed to fail. You see, you have the Tao and the flow, right? And so you need this effortless action, the Wu Wei, which arises only when one is aligned with the Tao, the natural order. Attempting to steal or graft another's virtue is like forcing a river to flow backwards. It leads to stagnation and disharmony. The energy body in Taoist thought can only flourish when it is in integrity with itself. He who tries to shine dims his own light. Tao Te Ching, chapter 24. There are energetic boundaries at play as well. Taoist internal alchemy cautions against letting one's energy mix with the corrupt or misaligned, lest one's own qi will become muddied. Spirit laundering through commingling invites chaos and weakness into both souls. The Taoist sage protects their own energy, cultivates it through practice, and does not seek shortcuts. In Buddhism, karma, illusion, and the unravelable self are a big part of things. With its doctrine of karma and the illusory nature of self, Buddhism sheds light on the fundamental error in the spirit launderer's strategy. Karma cannot be traded. Karma is personal and is precise. It attaches to intention as well as to action. No matter how closely one aligns with the virtuous or how deeply one tries to merge energetically, the imprints of karma follow the consciousness stream. The Dhammapada teaches not by bathing in rivers nor by performing rituals does one become pure, but by purifying the mind and its actions. Let's talk about destiny swaps in Maya. The Buddhist view holds that attempts to swap destinies or transfer suffering are rooted in Maya, which is illusion. All phenomena are interdependent, but each being's karma is unique. Rituals or psychic manipulations intended to trade base are acts of delusion and illusion, generating more confusion and suffering because it just can't be done. Let's talk about the erasure of awareness. Buddhist mindfulness also is designed to bring awareness to every aspect of the self, especially the shadow. Spirit laundering's attempt to erase awareness is the direct opposite of the path to awakening. It is ignorance disguised as healing. In Hinduism, we look to karma, Maya, and the danger of spiritual bypassing. Hinduism's rich cosmology, with its concepts of karma, dharma, and Maya, expands this picture all the more further. When we deal with the binding of karma, we can look to the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. Karma is not a ledger that can be laundered by any external act or relationship. Ritual atonement, which is prayashita, is recognized but only when rooted in actual sincere efforts at transformation. Any attempt to shortcut the process by commingling destinies or masking awareness results in further entanglement in samsara. What about destiny and dharma? Everyone has a unique dharma. This is a sacred purpose. This is what Hinduism warns that we should not be envious of. We should not covet. We should not want a destiny thief or steal from another. The act of dharma is unrighteousness, and it generates more karmic knots. Spiritual bypassing and erasure is also another evil, because you're using these splinter ideas to get away from unresolved issues. And so, with the coming of a clean slate, without the work of shadow integration, this is a false moksha, which is a deep entrapment in an illusion. Let's talk more about energetic commingling. Energetic commingling and destiny swaps are not merely metaphorical. Many traditions teach that souls and destinies can become entangled through intimacy, trauma bonding, ritual, or manipulation. So how do energies commingle? Well, intimate relationships, sexuality, romanticism, or even obsessive friendships can lead to energetic exchange for good or bad. If one party is dominant, their patterns can overwhelm the other. Even with mentorship, this cannot become imitation. They may unconsciously take on the destiny of a teacher or celebrity, bypassing their own energy, but nothing lasts forever. In some esoteric practices, ceremonies are designed to swap luck, remove curses, and transfer burdens from one soul to another. There is also the ethics and the dangers. Energetic commingling can lead to confusion, loss of identity, spiritual exhaustion, and the creation of new karmic debts. Those who attempt to destroy destiny swaps often will find that borrowed blessings turn sour, or that their own shadows resurface with an even greater vengeance. So we still try to erase awareness, but this is the false promise of oblivion that is holding us back. The heart of spirit laundering is a desire to erase awareness, to forget or suppress any knowledge of one's past wrongs and the future. And so mystical traditions will warn, keep in mind that what you say may very well glow in the dark. So what's the cost of suppression? Well, suppressing awareness fragments the psyche. The split off parts, our guilt, our shame, our shadow, become autonomous. And they're sabotaging, and they're healing, and they're manifesting, and the anxiety, addiction, and projection onto others comes along for the ride. So here's the illusion of the new self. Spirit laundering promises a new self, born not of true rebirth, but of denial and energetic theft. Yet the true self can only emerge through integration. This means grieving. This means transforming into shadow. This means not erasing it. Shadow work and the healing journey is equally important. The antidote to spirit laundering is the hard path of shadow work, embraced by all, including many authentic spiritual traditions. In A, we'll talk about Jung and the shadow. Carl Jung called the shadow the thing of a person that he no longer wished to be. So we have to approach the unloved portions of ourselves by doing an alchemical transformation. We bring shadow to light. We don't project it. We don't try to mask it. We confront it. And so this is where B comes in with the dark night of the soul. Many mystics, from St. John of the Cross to contemporary shamans, describe the dark night of the soul as being a profound period of loss, confusion, and emptiness, where all false identities and spiritual masks are eventually stripped away. This is the crucible of genuine healing. No one can carry another's light through this darkness. It is a solitary matter which is on the path to reckoning and rebirth. C. The Phoenix rising. Through shadow work and the dark night, the soul is purified. The energetic body is cleared, karma begins to resolve, and authentic destiny is reclaimed. What emerges is not a whitewashed tomb, but a living vessel of wisdom, humility, and true spiritual power. So what about healing and integration? Well, we have to become whole at some point. The goal of all spiritual traditions is integration, the healing of fragmentation, and the birth of the soul at peace with itself and the cosmos. There are some practices for healing. The first is that radical self-inquiry, which is an ongoing honest reflection of one's own emotions or motives and their actions as well as their wounds. We have restitution and atonement, making amends to those harmed, not just energetically, but practically, and we mean by dollars, right? Energetic cleansing. Practices like meditation, Gaigong, prayer, and the ritual can help clear energetic residue, but it must be paired with inner work. Therapeutic and communal support. Hearing and healing often requires the wisdom and care of others, not be commingled with destinies, but as to mirror and support an authentic change. Reclaiming destiny. As one heals, the illusion of destiny swaps falls away. Each soul rediscovers its unique song, its unique purpose, its unique journey. The universe, far from being tricked, responds with new opportunities, synchronicities, and blessings earned through genuine growth to those who were victims who were stolen from. What about the consequences of spirit laundering? Despite the seductive promise, spirit laundering inevitably fails, and there's painful repercussions for all involved. What about the return of the shadow? Well, as Jung predicted, what we repress does not disappear. It returns. It's often magnified. It's more than one attempt that we may try to hide, but the more the universe conspires to reveal it, the harder it will get. So we have these karmic entanglements. Energetic theft, commingling, and destiny swaps do not erase debt, they multiply it, creating complex webs of obligation, suffering, and confusion that can last lifetimes. But this is the point where we learn how to expose the false self. Spirit laundering is inherently unstable. Sooner or later, the masks slip, relationships fragment, and reputations begin to crumble. And the launderer is forced to confront the original wound, now amplified by the damage done to others. the universal laws, justice, grace, and the path forward. All the world, their religions agree, the universe operates according to laws that cannot be bribed, tricked, or bypassed. Karma, justice, and destiny are inexorable, yet there is always a path to healing. Let's look at the combination of justice and mercy. While justice demands reckoning, grace is always available to the sincere seeker. The divine offers renewal, but not only to those who surrender the ego's games and commit to real change, but also those who are willing to receive the word and hear the word. Now, what about the power of awakeness? What about the power of awareness? To awaken awareness, you have to face it all that one is in what has done, and that's the threshold of freedom. From this ground, all things become possible. Energy is purified, karma untangles, and the soul is restored to its rightful destiny. In conclusion, the only true cleansing is through the fire. Spirit laundering is the universe's ultimate illusion. It is a desperate attempt to whitewash the soul through energetic theft, commingling, and the erasure of self-awareness. Ancient wisdom and modern psychology unite in warning that this path only leads to further suffering and fragmentation. The authentic journey of the soul is neither quick nor easy. It demands the courage to face one's shadow, to walk through the dark night, and to allow the fire of truth to burn away all that is false. In this crucible, the soul is not laundered, but is transformed. Out of the ashes of illusion rises a being whole, humble, and aligned with the greatest currents of the cosmos. Destiny, in the end, cannot be stolen or swapped. It must be earned, it must be lived, and it must be embodied. To those willing to walk the path of honesty, healing, and integration, the universe offers not just a clean slate, but a soul of gold, tested, true, and ready to serve the greater whole. And if I don't see you, just remember, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.